This is not the first time something like this has happened. I suppose over the years you can say it happens occasionally. I can imagine the reasons, the despair, the loneliness of um, propagating unpopular views that go against the mainstream. For some reason, it does not particularly dawn to me. I suppose it is enough for me to know that I'm right. And the theoretical benefits of being right. Many people over the years have told me to renounce my views and do something else, but then it would crystallize uh, the loss, I suppose, and um, and also I don't feel I'm wrong. But anyway, I guess some people might find it a bit much and get tired of it and want to throw their toys out of the pram. So the problem with John, I think, is that he's capable of being consistent and principled and knowing what to say, but then not going the whole hog. So on Twitter, we've had a few exchanges about the nature of political activism, and I was saying to him that political activism can just be thought. You think of a solution, you think of how to promote it, you think of how to who to talk to, etc., etc. So even thinking is a form of political activism, and obviously choosing your well, having an opinion is a form of political activism, and expressing it is certainly the most basic form of political activism. You communicate usually with words, sometimes through gestures, about the political view that you support. And we also saying argued about a woman makes it sound more intriguing than it is. Basically, I'm talking to this Pakistani heritage woman, and he's taken a dislike to her, an intense dislike, and he clearly disapproves that I'm even talking to her. And I can imagine him thinking, she's going to be another Jen Shah. But in my position, I don't think I can really afford to pass up these opportunities of talking to new people, even if they seem to be displaying neurosis and um, incoherence and just well, I suppose I'm going to say, time wasting. Um, the characteristics of being a time waster, um, because they don't want to go anywhere. They don't want to really say anything. They just want to bitch about people and their inadequacies, and whether they're good looking or whether it's like I'm not really interested in these things. But I'll play along if required. Uh, I mean, if it leads to the promotion of secular Quranism, um, that's fine. I'll do it. I get bored of talking about secular Quranism. I can talk about other things. I actually would like other people to talk about it instead of me, and take on this terrible burden of talking about secular Quranism. So I see Orfeo is back. What is he asking me this time? What is a tag of a platform where you might like me to address you? My family's technical. I'm master of the archaic. I do hate to bother them. You see, I don't know what you mean. While we may be under contract, we can still do good. I still don't know what that means. I'm not from Singapore. But thank you for saying I'm nobility from anywhere. As far as I know, I come from good peasant stock. This reminds me of a lecture by Rabbi Mizrahi, my favorite rabbi, really. And it was, I'm not sure if I completely understood his point. He was complaining about all these people who study the Torah and the Talmud, and they've done it for years and years and years, and then they have nothing intelligent to say about anything. So that was what he was saying. So all this learning by people, and they're nowhere. I think that was what he was saying. So I'll put the link in it. It is right at the beginning, so you don't have to look for it too hard. Yes. So Orfeo admits that others have complained that he speaks in riddles, but he says he can't help it. I'm sure you could if you wanted to. Maybe you just enjoy speaking in riddles. Maybe you enjoy people asking you, "Oh, what do you mean?" Because it gets you more attention. Why can't I? Okay. I mean, what is the point of saying anything if you can't say it clearly? You're just wasting your time. You're, eventually going to annoy people, and eventually they get, tired of asking you, "What on earth do you mean?" Perhaps it's a problem of education. English teachers are not so strict anymore. They don't say, "Well, just draft, reword that nonsensical sentence again using correct English." So back to the subject of Jon Vance, who has had another meltdown. As I was saying, it was over a woman who he took an immediate dislike to, whom he thinks displays the characteristics of. What did he say? He said that she was like a woman playing hard to get who would provoke a man into seducing her and then boasting about about his conquest to his friends later and never doing it again. Um, and I thought that was quite a mean thing to say. But my further interactions with her suggest that she does like to mess people around. She likes to suggest things and then not follow through. She wants, for example, me to change a title to a subject and then not want to discuss the subject that the title had been changed to. So I see that can be quite infuriating, and maybe it's deliberate and maybe she doesn't know she's doing it, but this is all a manifestation of feminine neurosis. I'm trying to read John's mind here, and I think he is infuriated um, that I should be talking to this woman. And I said, well, it's better than talking to, really dumb men. Okay, they have bigger channels, but they're really boring. They're really boring. And the charisma-free zones. And okay, so he likes to do things differently to me. I prefer to focus on individuals and build a relationship with them. And if they're obviously boring, I'm not going to talk to them. Why would I? I just wouldn't be able to, get it up for them. And so I suppose he prefers to go to his, all male channels, talking about the subjects he wants. And the thing is, yes, they may have, lots of subscribers, but ultimately, the people who subscribe to them are non-player characters. Yeah, I mean, these people talking about whatever, they're not political activists. Nobody really cares what they think, and there are lots of political activists whose opinions are not valued by anybody because they don't know how to defend their view. They can't formulate arguments. They can just say what they feel, and that's it. So I have a different strategy, and I think it's an opportunity to talk to women who are prepared to talk about politics with me. They are really very, very rare on the internet. And I'm not going to flatter myself and say, John is jealous or something like that. Um, Maybe he feels like, men are being marginalized and I'm doing this girls together thing. And it's like, no, no, no. I haven't, I mean, the last time I did anything like that would be with uh, Jen Jar. And I thought that was one of the best comic exchanges of all. I mean, they were really comical because, Jen would be so rude and occasionally I would lose my temper with her, but it was just fun. She would just, what you want to boss everyone around, and we would just sort of fall in with her, read her blog, and it wouldn't make any sense, and we would ask her questions, and she would get annoyed, and um, happy times, I thought. Um, so obviously our gender identity would, well, it's a great part of our identity, isn't it? We are considered, well, our persona will be, um, I mean, okay, people get annoyed if they don't know if you're male or female, I think. I mean, it was interesting when I was talking to Vincent when we were trying this chat GPT thing, and Vincent said, a chat GPT is a woman, that there's just everything about how it talks and phrases, its words. That he just sensed that ChatGPT was female, and he would keep referring to ChatGPT as she. So obviously, the projection of our personality is linked to our gender identity. And I like to think I've been very good in not claiming my feminine privilege. I like to think I operate as a man in these circles. The breakdown of genders is something Orpheus says he's fascinated by. I assume you're talking about gender relations and the desecration of the institution of marriage, which I will restore with secular Quranism. And he says the age is female. I would argue empire is more or less. Well, I'm saying Western society is matriarchy, and matriarchy is a society that prioritizing the preferences of married. Oh, sorry, matriarchy is a society prioritizing the preferences of unmarried parents who casually conceived and parented their illegitimate offspring. Conversely, patriarchy is a society prioritizing the preferences of married parents who want to properly parent their legitimate offspring. So that is the difference. So, on the subject of Jon Vance, Amanda asks, why is he so moody? Isn't he at least curious about what you have to say? I hate blocking unless I know the person likes to snitch and report others. So, Amanda, who is female, says she hardly ever blocks people because that's a form of censorship, and she's, usually interested in what people say, unless she feels threatened by them. I think people who block are trying to show their. It's an assertion of control. I block you, therefore I was the one who made the first move, and I control whether I unblock you or not. I think it's that kind of idea. It's a subconscious desire to assert control. Ah, Orpheus says, how could I resist? You operate in your masculine, but you do it with profound grace and splendor. How can I resist such compliments? Thank you, Orpheus. So I suppose we all have our masculine and feminine side. The feminine side would be, caring, empathy, the caring, empathetic side of us, our instincts, our emotions, and the masculine side would be our ability to reason and coldly calculate what we have to do in order to accomplish our objective. And men and women have different admixtures of the two, of emotion and reason. And with reason comes rules. And some people just don't like rules. And men can get emotional. And I'm not saying that men never get emotional. I'm saying men often do get emotional. And for the less emotional female observing an emotional man, um, he is lowered in status by showing his emotions. He loses his mystery by emoting in front of the woman more than the woman is herself emoting. By emoting, we make ourselves vulnerable. We show weakness, and that's not a good idea if you're in a competitive and oppositional environment. So it is disappointing that Jon Vance has had, another of his meltdowns. Perhaps he'll recover and be on an even keel again. But masculine collapses into emotion are not going to raise the status of men. They're just not going to do it, and women will feel more and more in contempt of men, and this is dangerous to their society, particularly in a democracy when so many things are going wrong and so many things cannot be said, and things happen to people who just say what they believe to be the truth, and it's dangerous when people cannot even have an honest and rational discussion about what words mean. And it's because there is no official religion in the West, and men just don't know what to defend because they, they lack an official moral system. America lacks an official religion, and I'm saying if that's a problem, then it can be easily solved with secular Quranism. But nobody wants to talk about that because they're just all being so emotional, and men displaying lower quality thinking, lower quality courage than women will provoke their hatred, contempt, and ridicule, and worsen their predicament by behaving like women and spoiled children. And that's really what I want to say on the matter. Thank you all for listening.